Hello everyone, this is Suresh Kumar, working as Assistant Professor at Institute of Aeronautical Engineering, Dundigal, Hyderabad. Today we will discuss about the drip irrigation. So in the irrigation types, so the drip irrigation is the major part of our fields. Why? Because most of the areas, those are not having the sufficient water facilities for irrigation purpose. Such type of the areas, fed areas, we should have to be applied such type of the methods. Let us see the contents about the drip irrigation. Let us see here. We have to be discussed introduction and advantages of the drip irrigation and disadvantages, and comparison with other irrigation systems, and the components of the drip irrigation systems, and design of the drip irrigation, and design of procedure, example of designing, and also the benefits of the farmer. These are the small topics which is discussed in this lectures. So first, introduction. In the introduction, the irrigation as artificial application of the drip irrigation. Irrigation is nothing but the definition artificial supply of the water to the fields, whether is called as a irrigation. So maybe it may be rainfall, they will sprinkle, or any pumping, or the different type of the methods is also there for the irrigation system. But now we are widely using here as a spray type and irrigation normally should be which the area actually required of the what in the roots of the trees, which can be applied such type of the drip irrigation systems. So drip irrigation systems is the micro irrigation, and also this method can be rate of water can be application is very low as we discussed, and without the pressure the drip irrigation of the works. The drip irrigation is based on the concept of the irrigations only and root zones. The root directly it can be applied for the root zones. So we can during the pipes the roots is directly supplied to the roots of the plants. So this is the type of the system of the drip irrigation. In the drip irrigation, based on the basic concept of the irrigation of the zone, the rather the entire land surfaces on which the crop of the crop. Next, so let us see in the diagram some of the drip irrigation system. The water flows from the emission or any of the point can be supplied, and the soil can be capillary and gravitation by applying the water, and the soil moisture of the drip irrigation of the root zone is maintained at near the optimum level, as well as facilitate the optimum crop growth of the production. So these are the type of the irrigation system. Type of the irrigation system has been applied. So let us see that to maintain the optimum facilities of the growth. So this is supply. This is the root zone, as we know very well. The root zone, the supply of the water from this direct supply of the water from the root zone. So whichever the water actually required can be absorbed by the supplying of the water of the plants. So this is the system of the irrigation. Let us see the arrangement of the drip irrigation system. How the arrangement of the drip irrigation system. In this diagram, we can understand easily by overhead tank how the water supply, how the irrigation system can be works is very important here. Let us see in the raw water from the collected and from the overhead tanks, water can be absorbed, and from the pumping system of the overhead tank, and the overhead tank to which you can supply the lateral of the through the pipes. So here the another section of the plan B, whatever the water course which comes from the pump and also the overhead tank. So fertilizers of the tank is the lateral pipe, and the pressure regulator of the lateral pipes can be applied. So these are the points which is required of the different points is there. So of course this is laid from the pipelines of the drip irrigation system here. The drip can be equally can be plants will be equally may be supplied to the water. So not only that, the plants of the distance between these plants will be also the same system. So the exactly the water which is required for the drip irrigation water can be directly to the near very near to the plant. That is the system is very important. So this is the plant system, and also it cannot be wastage of the any of the water. That is important, and also the it can be avoid the waste of the trees, which is can be the growth of the waste of the trees can be also advantage for this one. So this pump, artificial pump, the pipes will be laid as usual by longitudinally, and also as per the requirement of the plants wherever they have to be provided can be directly supplied. So the tank can be supplied. So next, drip irrigation is used for the crop. Which type of the crops can be, this type of the drip irrigation can be applied. The first one is fruit crops. In the fruit crops, which type of the cultivation will be done? Let us see banana and the grapes and citrus and also pomegranate and papaya and pineapple and watermelon and sweet lime and mango and quinoa and mosambi. So these are some of the examples of the fruit crops. Next, vegetable crops. What are the vegetable crops can be cultivated from the vegetables with the drip irrigation system? The capable of the drip irrigation and cauliflower and tomato and potato, onion and chilies and radish, brinjal and the battle growth and French bean and capsicum and bindi beans and baby corn and carrots and also the cucumber, bitter gourd and bottle gourd and ash gourd and gherkins, and these are some of the examples of the vegetable crops for the cultivation through the drip irrigation system. Next, what are the commercial crops is also can be some of the cultivated for the by using this drip irrigation system of the methods. So let us see the commercial crops will be sugarcane and the cotton, groundnut and chickpeas. These are the commercial crops which is cultivated from the applying these type of the methods. So what are the advantages of the drip irrigation system? Main advantages of drip irrigation system: less requirement of the irrigation of the water, as we discussed. This method is generally we can apply those are not having sufficient water. So that's why this method can be applied. Less requirement of the water area can be irrigated. Such type of methods can be applied. Next, the water supply at optimum level. So some of the optimal level of the water will be the less. It can be also used drip irrigation system. Next, water logging is avoided. The water logging will be the water waste of the water can be in surroundings can be avoided. Next, high yield. So due to in the drip irrigation system, one drop wise, the water can be absorbed and infiltrated to the through the roots of the plants. So this is the high yielding of the water continuously drop. The wastage will also very advantage to be avoiding. Next, over irrigation was avoided. So the over irrigation also avoided. Next, variation and the applicable rate. So applicable rate can be some of the rate of the water can be required of the different crops. So different levels will be there. For this one, we have to also avoid for the whatever requirement will be the equally can be distributed as per the requirements. Next, reduce the labor cost. Once you have to be fixed the pipelines and pond this cultivated land, it can be fixed. Just they have to be small maintenance can be applied. So that's the labor cost will be the maintenance will be less. Next, wet control. So the wet control means the over the water can be wasted. So whichever the water requirement is, for suppose it is the 10% of the water required for this crop of the surroundings, but here we have to be applying as the more than the wastage of the water will be the more. But the requirement is 10 to 20% water for suppose example, but the wastage of the water will be the 70% of the this also can be wastage. So this is such type of the wastage can be avoided by through in the drip irrigation system. Next, increasing the net irrigable area. So increasing the net, why? Because the flood area will be also be irrigated, can be increased due to the in previously less of the water, not requirement of the water. Those are wasteland can be irrigated to the irrigable area. Next, highly uniform distribution of the water controlled by output each of the nozzle to soil of the irrigation. So here, how the nozzle, the highly distribution of the water can be distributed equally, means the here is the water, from this one the water can be only drop can be as per the providing as per the requirement of the water on such type of the crop. So the total the waste, the over of the water drops cannot be expected. So such type of the water can be less water, 10 liters, 5 liters is enough for this each of the plants. But here removing the water will be directly applied, the wastage will be also be more. Suitable for any type of the topography. What is the meant by suitable for high topography? So some of the areas, the plants cultivation, all the time the water will not be same level. Maybe they may increases or decreases or levels. So such type of the areas we have to be cultivated through applying the drip irrigation system. How it can be applied? So this due to the pipeline system can be applied. So any of the areas, any of geological conditions. So that's why you have to be run the pipelines. Due to the pipelines, each of the areas we have to be provided for the drip of the nozzle. From this nozzle, the water will be flowed, and also requirement of the water can be available for such type of the crops. So that is the suitable for any type of the topography. Next, maintenance of the high surface temperature. So the high temperature will be maintained for this drip irrigation systems. Improve the disease and pest control. Why? Because most of the pest control can be increased due to the waste of the grass can be grow. So such type of the can be avoided, and also have to be diseases will the pest control is also due to the why? Because those are not can be increases the pest will be the increases due to the moisture conditions. So the moisture will be reduced. What happens? Automatically it can be decreases. So that is the problem, and also the drip irrigation will also be best suited for the such type of the areas. Next, tolerance to widely atmospheric conditions. So any of the atmospheric conditions, tolerances to be widely, this atmospheric conditions will be applied for the drip irrigation system. Next, disadvantages of the drip irrigation system. So up to this, we have to be discussed the advantages there only. But in this advantages of drip irrigation system, here is a high cost. Why high cost? So first of all, the farmer will be purchased the drip irrigation of the system. Means the drip irrigation will be the pipelines you have to be purchased, and it can be also be cut it, and also be whatever the requirement of on particular points our crop will be requirement how to cut, and the nozzle can be provided here for so supplying of the water. So that's why the for the initially have to be purchased, and providing the labor cost and also material cost will be also be there. And also large quantity of the pipes of the filtration and equipment to be clean up the water. So, okay. So this is the one of the disadvantage. Next, expense. Expense means that's why you have to initially have to be purchase the more of the overhead systems have to be purchased. Waste. Some can affect the tubes used for drip irrigation, the shortening of their useful life, and the longevity of the is variable. So that is the waste of the some areas can be long time variable, and there is some of the salt contents which is also available in the water. So it can be also be fixed, and it cannot be flow freely. So some of the areas you have to be maintained regularly due to the areas. So those are has the nozzle areas. So that is some maintenance will be also be required. Next, clogging. So in the clogging, the water is not properly filtered. The equipment properly maintenance is also required, and it can be result of the clogging. Next, drip tape causes extra cleanup the cost after the harvest. You will have to be need tape wiring and disposal of recycling of the reuse. First of all, our crop is finished. You can shift that any of the use for the another crop is also you have to be used. So that is the main recycling. Also reuse can be also useful. This method is not suitable for the closely plants and crops such as the wheat. Why? Because these plants, as I told here, this is the plants. For suppose here is another plant, especially these are mangoes and also musambi like that. So these are the plants can be the drip irrigation system is the distance between these can be certain distance, means 2 meters, 3 meters like that. So such a type of the can be very near, it cannot be applicable. Because here is one nozzle is providing, here one nozzle is providing, here one nozzle is providing. So drip water can be slowly it can become and so that's why you have to be maintain the some distances. Such a type of the chini and neem and also mango such a type of the applied for this type of the systems. Due to there is some distance will be maintained. Maybe also during the crop time you have to be measure the distances. It may be most probably you have to be maintain the equal distance. That is the main important for this one, the drip irrigation systems. Next. So in the drip irrigation system, the flood, there is some advantages from there is a difference between the drip irrigation system. Next here the water logging is nil and the water logging is very high due to the flood methods, and water logging water control so can be regularly easily usable. How much of the control? Next the cost benefit ratio, additional benefits and rupees can be also every rupee can be invested. Here the excluding the water, the 1:1.3 to 13.3 including the water savings of the 2.8 to 30 between the 1.8 and 3.9. Next capital cost hectares 15,000 to 40,000 and depending on the crop spacing. So the next yield of increment. Each yield of increment is the 20 to 30% of that one and the higher than the flood of the method. Last compared to the drip irrigation. So this is the comparison is given the drip irrigation method and flood method. So these are the some knowledge purpose you have to be maintain the what is the difference between these two way of the methods. Next, what are the components of the drip irrigation system? In these components of drip irrigation system, next pumping set. What are the components parts in this there? Pumping set and filters and main lines and sub lines and laterals and drippers or emitters. So let us see the one by pumping. Pump set is nothing but to increase the pressure. Here see, to increase the pressure about the 2.5 kgs per cm to regulate the amount of the water to be supplied. Next filter. The filter media is providing here. The filter is there. Have to be providing the filter to filter the water in the order of removing the suspended impurities from the water. Suspended impurity of the water. So this is the pump system is supplying of the water, and here is the inside we are going to providing the filters. Next one is main lines. So main lines is the distribution system. The drip irrigation will be PVC pipe. Generally we are using the PVC pipes, and high density polyethylene pipes are also used to maintain the pipes to minimize the corrosion and the clogging. Next, the pipes will be the 65 mm diameter with pressure ratio of the 4 to 10 kg of square centimeters. So inside the front. Main sub-main. Sub-main means it is usually connected to the main lines to control the value of the assembling, and the function is to be distributes of the water uniform to the number of letters. Let us see in the C. This is the easily have to be understand. This is the main lines is providing here. From these main lines, each of the main line here, the main line, the sublines are taking here like that. These are the sublines. This is another one subline, another subline, and another subline, and also give the another subline also. These are the given the sublines is can be provided for the drip irrigation system. So this is the main line to subline. Next, dripping or emitters. Dripping or emitters. This is also we call as a nozzle is also there. So why? Because from this one the water droplets will be the comes from here. Okay. Actually, it can be fixed the another way, but here the droplet water can be a nozzle is fitted to the pipeline sub pipeline connections. From this pipeline, the water droplets will be the comes from the small of the diameter. So let us see that it is fitted to the drop inlet and later emitted of the continuous flow will exceed 15 liters per hour. 15 liters per hour, that is the discharge capacity for this drip irrigation nozzle. Next, the drippers of the function is energy dissipators, reducing the inlet pressure as well as the lateral, which generally range from 0.2 to 1.5 atmosphere. 0.5 to 1.5 atmosphere. Next, the design of the drip irrigation system. So, how the design of the drip irrigation system? So, first one, types of the soil and infiltration characters of the soil and the type of the crops, conceptual use of the water crops and the water quality, climatic conditions, availability of the funds, and also control of the map. So these are some points are given regarding the design of the drip irrigation systems. So types of the soil. So how the types of the soil can be affected? With different types of will be cultivated here. So some of the soils will be required more, and some of the soils will be the less requirement of the infiltration capacity, as we discussed in the previous slide. So previous lectures. Next, the infiltration characteristics of the soil. Based on the soil only, the infiltration of the water can be infiltrated from the bottom, the side, from the top to the bottom. The water can be infiltrated slowly. So this is also different. But the infiltration capacity will be in the sandy soil it is only more, and clay soils will be the less infiltration capacity. Why? Because a small minute particles can be fixed one to one. The infiltration capacity will be slowly it can becomes, and that is the different level depends upon the soils conditions, and also the soil conditions of A type, B type, C type, D type, different type the classification of the soils is there. So based on which type of the soil it will comes, the water requirements and infiltration capacity, evaporation are there just already. This type will be the more, and also it can be affected in the infiltration capacity. Next, type of the crops. So this one is the best example. As which type of the food crops and also commercial crops like that, and vegetable crops. So these type of the crops which we are during the cultivation time, what happens? The requirement of the water will be the different. Each of the crop contains different type of the water requirement is there. As for the requirement, the supply of the water will also have to be provided. So that's why the crop requirement, different type of the water, how much the water can be required on particular crop is also important. Also to have to be provided the water on such type of the crop. Next, consumptive use of the water by crops. So how much the consumption or consumptive the water can be conserved, and consumptive of the water can be due to the crops will be also the main criteria for the irrigation system. Next, water quality. What is the water quality? The water quality is nothing but there is salt content of the soil and also non-salt pot water. Means the salt content will be the very less. The potable water or there will be the salt content is less, which can be avoid the avoid the drip a nozzle in can be blocked some of the areas due to the salt content. So such type, so water requirement, the quality with the potable water is the best for the maintaining of the drip irrigation of the pipelines and instrument maintenance purpose. The salt content will again every 10 days 15 days you have to be maintained to blockage can be avoided on this requirement, crop requirement of water. Next, climatic conditions. In the climatic conditions is the very main criteria for this drip irrigation system. What the difference between drip irrigation criteria means? So some of the areas will be the cold conditions, the requirement will be the less. Why? Because they are also having the moisture content in the atmosphere. So that's why they don't need to have to provide the requirement of the water. But here is some of the areas which is the hot conditions, especially in the summer. What happens? The water requirement automatically it can be the requirement is the more. That is the climatic conditions, whichever the water requirement on particular crop is the we have to be remember and it can be supplied on such type of the crops. Next, availability of the funds. So availability of the fund means, so this means that availability of the funds, first of all you have to be provided for the purchasing of the all the equipments. That is the main important. But for suppose there is some behind some of the farmers is there, so 5 acres, 2 acres, 3 acres, 5 acres, 10 acres like that. So total they have to purchase and share the trip of the materials which have to be purchased one person, and it can also share or also given the some of the farmers for the another rent purpose also they will give. So the crop is over, what happens? It can be automatically give some other persons. The initial cost will be the more. That's why the funds availability will the important for the purchasing the drip irrigation materials. Okay. Next, contour map. Why the contour map which is affected? So here the contour map effect means, so there is some land will be the like that up and downs, lot of up and downs is there. So contouring. So the requirement of the pipeline for this one, the requirement of the pipeline will be also be more. And also lot of junctions is also required. Automatically the spare parts will be also be increased. Okay. So that's why pumping system capacity of the motor will also be increased and pipe diameter is also be increased. So such type of these things is also be affected for the availability of the funds. Next, contour also contouring the map. These are the some of the drip irrigation design of drip irrigation. Next, procedure. How to give the procedure of the drip irrigation system? The prepared inventory of the availability of the resources, operating conditions, and the determination of water requirement of the drip irrigation as usual, and also the appropriate type of the system and the type of the design emitters and the determination of the capacity of the pumping system, and also decide the economic sizes of the pumping. So some design procedures are followed while laying of the drip irrigation system. Next, discharge trippers. How much the water can be discharged? As in the previous slides, you have to how much the water can be discharged due to the nozzles. So here some of the formulas are given, where Q is equal to discharge, K into H into whole to the power of X. If this Q is equal to discharge of the which is the drip irrigation can be emitted from this on the nozzle. Next, P, operating pressure or force, which the how much pressure can be applying for this operating of the water supply of the pressure can be applying for this pumping of the, if it is a less area and nearer the distance, it can no need to apply the more force. Here not only that, here the area will be the more, automatically you have to increase the motor capacity to supplying the water. So that is the pressure which can be applying is also P. Next, X is equal to constant for the specified emitters. So there is a constant which also some constant is there for specified emitters can be on. By based on this formula, Q is equal to KH over to the power of X. So this by applying this formula, the discharge will be the calculated that how much water can be discharging to the drip irrigation system on particular area which we have to be provided. Next, here the more than 70% Indian farmers are using the drip irrigation slots, and less than 1 hectares and rainfall patterns play havoc into the livelihoods of the small farmers which is not having the alternative supply of the water. So there is here you have to be clearly see the drip irrigation system will be provided. The distance between the is also equally they are going to be maintaining. Here it can be laying of all the drip line pipelines, and each of the area they will be provided one nozzle for the requirement of supplying of the water. Next, there is some conclusion is there. Drip irrigation system is the economical and efficient of the vegetable row crops, and drip irrigation crops is also less water compared to other head of the irrigation systems, and drip irrigation is also increasing the yield. So here the design context. Let us see the drip irrigation system design parameters is there. Very important. Some design parameters. What are the design parameters for this content is there? The common emitter of the flow rates is equal to 0.51, 1.5 or 2 gallons per hour. So can be emitted generally for the common flow of the water flow. Next, a zero graph emitted, GPH means gallons per hour. Emitted, the recommended is the provided accurate flow, minimizing the pipe friction and conserving the water. Next, system flow rates. System flow rates. What is system flow rates? The drip irrigation system is typically operate within the flow of rate of 300 to 200 liters per minute. So next also that depends upon the system, the characteristics of the water and the requirement of the irrigated area. Next, operating pressure. Next, operating pressure is the one of the system. So the drip irrigation is operating generally design the operation pressure between the 20 to 30 pounds of the per square inches pressure can be applied. If the water pressure exceeds the range, a pressure of the regular recommendations of the damage of the system can be components of the damage to the system components. Okay, that's why you have to maintain within the range of 10 to 30 pounds of the pressure will be maintained constantly. That is the important. Next, application rate. Next, application rate is nothing but the average discharge of the water rate emitted, the sampling of the multiple of overhead their output. For example, we are the system of the 2 of the 0.5 gallons per hour emitted for wine, and the average application rate is equal to 0.9 gallons per hour for wine. So this is the application rate which is supplied for the drip irrigation system. Next, the last one is nothing but water quality parameters. The water quality parameters is nothing but how the water can be maintained. Such a clean water, generally potable water can be supplied is the better thing. So here the pH level will be maintained in between the less than 7 and the particular matter of the lesser than 30 parts per million. The maintaining of these parameters had helped to preventing of the clogging system in the pipeline. That is the very important. So what happens? It can be always to be spend some money to maintaining of the all pipelines, and also the pipeline will be also damaging inside, and also the component parts also be not working. So you have to be maintained regularly, properly. So that is the very inconvenient for this normal farmers. Okay, we are providing that to reduce the cost you have to be reduced. That's why have to be emitted clocking ensure the system longevity. So This is the some references is there. Thank you.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.